This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, May 29th, 2006, and this is episode number 106 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from MGMstudios.org. On today's panel is wearing the Goldhaber is my homeboy t-shirt, Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
Now approaching Tomorrowland Interplanetary Convention Center. That's it.
We've also got Len Testa, the author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. And today we're talking about Frontierland by popular demand. We had in the past talked about a lot of different lands, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, and we kind of moved on to Epcot, and we got a bunch of emails and comments like, whoa, what happened to Frontierland?
Well, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, because everyone is really unsure about Splash Mountain, so we're going to set the record straight about all the many things to do with Frontierland. No, but seriously, we really should. So we'll start out, and in alphabetical order, of course, we're starting out with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. An interesting note that I was just thinking before we started the show, guys, both Big Thunder and Splash, which we'll talk about later, they're the only two attractions that are not, their queues are not well hidden, and you're basically, when they use the full queues, I mean, you could be in there for like hours.
Yes. I actually was. We talking Big Thunder first, or are we talking
Big Thunder?
Splash?
Yeah. I mean, this is an observation for both, but I mean, Big Thunder is what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, Big Thunder, because if you've never been on Big Thunder, you think that the hill is it, and you don't realize that when you get to the top of the hill, that there is a queue that's under the roof, and there's a little bit of a maze up there. So it's a little disheartening when you get all the way up there, and then you say, "Oh my God, I gotta go through another."
They've sort of maximized the amount of usable space in that maze too.
Yeah.
The good thing is it's once you get past that initial part, it's covered. They've got water fountains in line, and you can sort of see the ride.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The downside is that, well, you can see the ride. You're not going on the ride. So
that's a different ride during the day and at night. I've ridden it at night, and I've ridden it during the day, and it's like, whoa, big difference. Also,
completely different rides, right?
Yeah, it's also a difference as to where within the train that you actually ride. If you ride up front, if you ride in the back, if you ride in the middle, it's a totally different experience.
And it's a very fun attraction. I think it's a great, a lot of people's first roller coasters.
It was my daughter's first roller coaster. I told you guys the story, right?
I don't think so. Why don't you share it with our new listeners anyway?
So Handy and I were going on Big Thunder Mountain for the first time. She wanted to go on. We just got on Splash Mountain. It was just her and I on a daddy-daughter day in Walt Disney World.
Which means, hold on, Hannah, I have to go wait times for Fantasy
Hold on, Hannah, we got to go get some fast information. Puck up, little soldier, 12 more hours. Anyway. So we went on Splash Mountain. It was freezing, right? But we go on Splash Mountain, and she says, "Dad, I want to go on Big Thunder." I said, "Fine." There was literally no wait. So we go through the entire maze. We go down and we get on Splash Mountain, and we're going up the first hill, and it's going chink, 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 and it's really, really loud. And we get to the very top, and Henny starts crying, because she was scared. And I spend literally the next 2.5 minutes trying to point out interesting things that are going by 25 miles an hour. to keep her mind off of the ride. So I'm like, I get to the top, I'm like, look, the mountain goat, look, the guy in the bathtub, just try to pass to show the scenery as we go along, and I'm going, whoa, and she's crying the whole way, right? So the thing ends, and she's crying and crying and crying. We get off, and through her too, she goes, "Daddy, can we go again?" So we get back on, right? And I'm like, "Okay, Annie, you sure you want to go?" So I'm fully prepared again. I'm like, "Okay, what's the sequence?" It's goat, dinosaur, guy in bathtub. Just in case I have to point stuff out. So we start going up the first hill, then we go down the first hill, and something hits me in the head and knocks my glasses off. And honest to God, I thought I got hit by a bird. I thought I whacked a bird, and it was Hannah. She had raised her arms up because she had seen the teenagers in front of us doing it.
Yeah.
And she's going, woo! So between ride 1 and ride 2, she became a roller coaster veteran. But then we went out 7 times in a row. It was great. Hanny's in the room by the way now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to say hi? She's out of the room now. All right. So you might come back for Tom Sawyer Island. Anyway, so yeah, that was my daughter's first roller coaster. It's really not that bad in terms of roller coasters. I will say it sucks in the rain because you're getting pelted with rain.
The other problem is, it's a great ride. No problems really here. I love it. But there's, of course, the seats aren't separated, so the person you're sitting next to you're going to get real close to real quick.
Oh man, it's like Major Safe Monkey the whole way.
You're just slamming into your friends, and it's quite interesting, especially when you're with if you have like an odd number of people, so somebody has to be split up, and you end up sitting with someone who you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's always great to be in their lap, And it's like, oh, can't do
Hi, we're
about
friends
it.
now, right? Getting to know you. Yeah, it's a good attraction. Like Scopa said, though, it is a great attraction at night. In fact, I don't think I ride much during the day anymore.
Well,
I only go on it. Only go on it at night now.
The next attraction is the Country Bear Jamboree, the attraction that both of you guys did at what was it? A Very Merry one year. You wasted an hour over there.
Well, I tried to keep Len awake that night.
Yeah, really.
Oh, you were tired.
I was exhausted because I was in the park all day, and then we had to do Very Merry, and that was difficult. But I like the Country Bears.
Yeah, it's usually not crowded. I mean, what's nice is that they have the timer outside, so you can see what the time countdown is to the next show. So you don't have to waste time, hanging around. You can do some stuff. It's almost like it's got its own little fast pass, so you know when, it's 5 minutes to go. Let me get in the queue. Let's see how it is and whatever. And you go in there, and it's a classic Disney park attraction. So it's corny. You know that the technology is somewhat old, but you just soak it in. It's really good. And Big Al, everybody knows the songs. There was blood on the saddle, and everybody laughs.
Right, exactly.
So it's pretty cool. Everybody and all the women love that little teddy bear that's on the
Teddy bear.
Yeah. Teddy bear.
I like the Christmas version because it's different, and my daughter loves the attraction itself. I mean, it's the thing I like about the pavilion itself is it's rustic. It's fairly well detailed. It's all the songs and everything are so corny as to be funny. Like I imagine in the early '80s, it probably wasn't funny, but it's so bad now that it is funny.
And you mentioned before, Len, that from Thanksgiving until New Year's, there's a Christmas version of the show.
Yeah, it's usually from how Disney's doing Christmas this year. It probably starts in October, but no, it probably starts mid-November and runs through probably the first week of January. Well, they'll do a Christmas version of the show. I've seen both. I think they're both very good. I think the good thing is that the show's moderately popular now. So, except for around, and Scopa, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but except for around parade times, you really shouldn't have to wait more than one show to get in. So if if you didn't get in this current show, your average wait's going to be like half a show.
I think you're right. I have a few cast member friends who've worked Tom Sawyer, and usually that attraction doesn't open until 10 a.m.
Right.
It's good. Well, depending upon what you're into and what time you get into the park, most people, if they're really into Space Mountain and Splash and Big Thunder, they're going to do those headliner attractions first and then head over to Country Bear. But I think that the first 3 hours of the time that attraction's open, it's a good time to go. I wanted to point out that, I don't know how many people notice this, but when you walk in past the turnstiles and you're sitting in that queue in that waiting area, have you ever looked at the floor?
It's very rustic.
Well, besides that, it looks like a bunch of bears were walking in it. They're all bear claws.
No, really, I missed that.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yes.
Well,
and Harold the Treasure.
The next attraction, Frontierland Shooting Arcade. I haven't done this.
You haven't done it?
No, it's just.
Oh man, it's addictive.
Is it?
Those aren't real guns, Matt, by the way.
Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Pretty bad.
Oh, funny.
Any comments?
That's fun. I mean, I've done it with my son. It can be a time sink because it's a lot of fun. You know, you go through all the targets, and there's a lot of animation when you hit something.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit.
It's pretty cool. I don't know what the cost is these days. Len, you know, any idea?
50 cents.
Okay.
50 cents. I think you get like 12 or 14 shots, and I'm telling you, you could easily blow $20 or $30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what Disney wants.
Yeah, exactly. It really is a great deal of fun.
Probably makes a lot of money for them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is the rifles are a little bit old. Yeah, old. Yeah, there's that, and then they're heavy too. So, like for me, I really have to put my shooting arm down. But they've got padding, like padded blankets, where you could do it. So you could definitely bring kids and do it.
Great.
Yeah, I really like it a lot.
The next attraction is arguably one of the best attractions at Walt Disney World, the Splash Mountain.
Arguably?
I put Splash Mountain as my number 2 personally.
Which is number 1?
Tower.
Yeah, you would.
Tower of Terror. I have to put that one ahead of it. But I think, the detail, the storyline, I think it's a great attraction.
It's actually my number 1 attraction in Walt Disney World.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit of, we don't have to explain Splash Mountain to our listeners, I don't think. But where do you ride, Len? Are you someone who, do you always ask for the front? Do you always ask for the back, or it's up to the cast member?
I'll ride anywhere. I'll take it. I'll take anything.
Okay.
The thing a couple things that I like about to be a really great attraction in Walt Disney World, I think we've talked about this on a very early episode, but to be a very good attraction in Walt Disney World, you need several things. One is you have to be epic in scope, right? Little rides can be great, but it's not the same thing as to do, $150 million ride really, really well. I think Splash Mountain was $80 million when it opened, or $100 million when it opened. It's a big ride, and it's done very, very well. The other thing that I like about it that differentiates it from, say, Space Mountain is the ride itself is very long. Depending on how fast the water's going, it's somewhere between 12 and 14 minutes long. So if you're waiting 45 minutes in the standby line for it, you're at least getting a decent ride for your wait. It's not the same with Space Mountain, where, what is it, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and you're done?
Right.
So that's also what I like about it. The other thing I like is it's got both, thrills and attention to detail. So it's not like a ride like the Hulk at Universal, where it's all thrills and you can't understand the storyline to save your life.
Right.
That's
Splash.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to let you keep on going. I just want to add something right to that. That's what Disney does best. It takes rides like Tower of Terror, Splash Mountain. The ride mechanism has been around for years. This is a flume ride.
Yeah, it's a glorified flume ride, but still,
right. That's what Disney's done best. They've taken the details and everything, and that's continue. I just wanted to add that.
So, then it's the attention to detail and it's the scope. You can't. It's got like 100 animatronic figures. The one thing I would say, and I know I sound like an 80-year-old grandfather when I say this, but you remember when you went into the laughing place, you had water fountains that would shoot over you they were just slightly ahead of you, and they would arc over you across the path of the boat.
Yep.
Yes.
And that hasn't worked in 5 years, 6 years?
At least.
I've heard it worked like a couple of days one time recently, but it doesn't work on a regular basis. It was so cool. It was one of those things where it was like, if I had the money, I would do this at home. That sort of technology. I think it's fabulous. But the thrill at the end, they did a great job in making it look much more imposing than it actually is. It's still a great thrill. It's still a lot of fun to go on, but it looks a lot worse than it really, really is. Again, it's all Disney ride engineering that does it. I think it's a fantastic ride.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't ridden it because you're afraid of the drop,
you definitely ride it. Literally, it's the number 1 attraction in Walt Disney World, I think.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely worth doing. It's not half as bad as it looks.
No.
And
Fast Pass really makes it all worthwhile. Oh, one tip on this thing is late at night, sometimes the cast members who are manning or staffing the station will put an artificially high wait time on the attraction to avoid having to shut it down with people still in the queue. So they might say it's a 25-minute wait when in actuality it's like 0 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. Right.
Scoop, you have a story on Splash?
Well, actually, I was actually in Walt Disney World in 1992. I think it was mid-July when they first opened it. Although I believe the official opening day was September 17th of '92. But I can remember getting a call. We've heard this before, and you get a call and say, "Hey, we're opening up Splash." So I hurried over, and this was one of those attractions, Matt. We were alluding to this earlier in the podcast. We really don't know how big of a queue it is until you get past when
No,
you're
it's huge.
walking past.
Yeah, right.
You know, in the back end, behind the train station. Well, we get on there, and I went with my two kids, and we had a big meet that week with a whole bunch of friends from England, and so we're all on it together. And I can remember getting off the attraction, and I said to my kids, "Watch the fun I'm going to have with the people in line." So we get off the attraction, we're walking down, and everybody is asking us, "How is it? How is it?" And my kids are saying, "Oh, it's so much fun, blah, blah, blah. Don't be afraid, whatever." And I'm telling everybody, make sure you get a log with a seatbelt. and
you the whole way down.
my daughter's saying, "Dad, what are you doing?" I said, Don't worry, it's fine." I just wanted to drive them crazy. What you said, Len, about the nighttime is true. They I can tell you that we went on that attraction back in, I think that year when they were having E-Ride nights, which was the best thing that's ever been gone. I mean, I wish that they would bring back E-Ride nights. You could stay on the log. You didn't have
I've done that.
A log. I mean, it was great. And also, one more thing I wanted to point out that I had a friend who used to work on Splash, and he said they would turn that attraction on. The flume would be turned on around 6 o'clock in the morning, and it would take them 90 minutes to get that attraction completely operating so that they can put guests on there. They actually test it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning before they give it the all okay to open it up to the guests. So they're really very careful about that attraction, and that is one of the gems of Magic Kingdom. Truly,
I had a friend that lost his hat on Splash Mountain, and they asked him where. And, because they're like, okay, they whip out this notepad or something. They're like, okay, tell us where you lost it, and we'll take a look at it. And he's like, yeah, I lost it right at the bottom where the big drop is. And the guy stopped writing. He's like, yeah, that's gone. They're like, the pumps got that one. Apparently the giant water pumps that recirculate the water are down there. And the guy was he just looked up. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to waste the ink on this one. It's gone. It's great.
Well, very quickly, Tom Sawyer Island is also in Frontierland.
Fabulous.
A lot of attention to detail here, right, Len?
I really like it. Yeah, I really like it quite a bit.
What ages would you say Tom Sawyer Island is good for?
I think it's a multi-generational thing. In the book we point out that there are, really any kid any child that can walk will have fun on the barrel bridges and walking along the paths. There's also a small playground, like a small wooden fort on the island. Oh, my daughter just walked in. Hey, Hanny, what else is good in Tom Sawyer Island? The playground. There's a playground, right? Caves. There's caves that you can go in that are pretty good. There's also a fort. And he likes the bridges that wobble. What else? Fort Langhorn's not bad. The fort where you can shoot air rifles at the boats that are passing by.
Like you had a theory
Columbine all over again.
Oh God.
Yeah. What else?
Well, yeah, it's a great attraction, and it's cool that I like the whole boat that you need to take to get there. I find that really
The raft.
The raft.
Yeah. Yep.
Who was it that was telling me? Was it somebody that used to work on the rafts that said the quickest way to get a spin around the rivers of America is to complain loudly that the raft is on rails? You just get
Right.
Yeah. That's great.
Yep. And of course, honorable mention in Frontierland goes to the Le Cellier's number 2 for Mike Scopa. That's Pecos Bill.
Pecos Bill's is very good.
Oh, very good. They changed some of the. I don't know if it's true in the back, but I know that they changed the seating last year. They changed the chairs, so now you're almost sitting on hassocks now. You're not sitting in chairs, and that had something to do with people were lingering around. The chairs were so comfortable that they decided to change the actual furniture in there, so it wouldn't be as comfortable as it was. So now they're still back. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well-
remember you used to get like a thing in the back there, right between like Adventureland and Frontierland. You know, back. You could walk to from Pirates, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So you used to get way in the back over there. You could sit there all day.
Yep.
Yeah, some of those are nice.
Well, you still can. It's just not as comfortable.
Yeah. So they took the backs off the chairs.
Well, I think they actually replaced the chairs, Len. It looks like
wow.
they've got hassocks there instead.
That's very interesting.
Well, that's it for us today. This has been episode number 106 of Walt Disney World Today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Tosta, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.